Imagine like every day being put through the emotional ringer when you're working on a song that's heavy. I mean, that's what engineering is and music is. Somebody gives you an idea and you develop that idea to a level that they never expected. That's the secret to it all.
How does a song make you feel something? Excited, melancholic, nostalgic, motivated? Music moves our hearts, gets us dancing, distracts us from worries, inspires us. But how? To find an answer, we visited the Masters of Music.
I'm Chris Gehringer, partner, senior engineer at Sterling Sound.
Sterling Sound is one of the biggest mastering houses, I would say, globally. We have over a dozen mastering engineers, and we do 25% of the top Billboard hits. We work with some of the biggest artists on the planet.
Everybody here basically represents a genre of music, the other engineers, and we just, we've been around for a long time. We do a lot of music.
So mastering historically is about creating cohesiveness. These days you're doing a lot more singles than albums, but historically you'd be doing albums. So nothing jumps out, nothing leaps, everything sort of feels familiar.
The last set of hands to touch a song before it goes to DSPs like Spotify, Apple, vinyl, and CD, and all sorts of distribution.
When I started in the business, the medium for music was vinyl. As things went from vinyl to CD, it created other listening capabilities, headphones and portable speakers and things like that. So we had to take all that into consideration when working on the music. How does it sound in a boombox? How does it sound in a car? Now with streaming, almost all the audio is primarily listened to through headphones or portable. So we have to make all our judgments determined on, how can it sound great on speakers and how can it also sound good on headphones? When a project comes through, they first contact my manager, Liz, and she fields all the questions of, billing, scheduling, things like that.
Files come into me, we get that set up for Chris.
I'll work on the project. I'll tell my assistant it's done. He'll grab the files.
I go through it with like a real fine-tooth comb, make sure everything's cohesive.
He'll package it in whatever format the client needs it to be packaged in.
And we make sure we get it to them on time so that they can make their release dates.
Whenever I work, people always assume that a rap record has a lot of bass or a rock record has great top end or things like that. I'm full spectrum the whole time I'm working. It doesn't really matter the genre. We're listening to the song and trying to accent the song in full frequency, full spectrum, and make sure the vibe fits the type of music. You have to put yourself in the situation of, as a music fan, what is it about the song that really gives it some life? And that's what we focus on, vibe and putting life into the song. I'm the least technical guy probably in the business, definitely in this place. I really try and focus on what can I do to feel the song more. The song that I'm going to work on today is my son's roommate's song, and my son plays on it and co-produces it. I really feel like they made a great song. I just feel the emotion from it. It's kind of a full circle for me. So here we go. The Corner. So the first thing I'm going to put on the record is an EQ to try and fix all the spots that I feel frequency-wise need to be boosted or cut. So now that I have the EQ on, I feel like it's good, but I just feel like there's something lacking in the bass. So I'm going to bring in a plug-in, kind of fill out the bass and really move it a little more, because I feel like that's the energy that I want to bring out, the driving bass, and make the record kind of really like hit in the choruses. So I'm just going to bring in this low-end processing thing in ozone that I really like. Low-end focus. Really gets the bottom end kind of ripping now and filling out. So now that I have it at the level that I think is competitive, I want to play it against the flat track to see what I did and what changes I've made. So here's what I did. And here's the flat track. So there's a lot of energy put into it. To me, the emotion of the song was the verse is melancholy and the chorus is like driving, it's anger. I really wanted to push that and make the bass pound when it comes in. Add to that anger, keep the melancholiness in the same place. These are the things I did here to kind of push that narrative on the record. Sounding good. I find myself getting emotional with a lot of music. I wasn't expecting that in the beginning of my career, that I was going to be emotionally involved in projects that I work on.
What got me into music was my love of it. You know, I didn't play instruments. I kind of chose sports over that, but I was always just consuming it, listening to it all the time.
So it's just like old school hockey. Goalies with no masks. Out of their mind.
You know, when I decided I wanted to be a part of that, engineering was the way to go.
Just a bunch of old stuff to keep around. Memories, I guess.
I was able to work with Walter Schreifels from Quicksand and Jonah Matranger from Far and One Line Drawing, and you know, we built some interesting relationships working on projects together, and those were really meaningful to me because they were important artists when I was younger as well. Definitely meant a lot, still mean a lot.
I'm a huge Blink-182 fan, and now I'm working with Travis Barker's team and with the label, and we're getting notes, you know, back and forth, and I get to see how it's done. That part's really cool.
There's a Halsey song that I worked on, and it was about breaking up, and I had to walk to the studio. It was a blizzard in the city one day. The trains were down. I had to walk across Manhattan, get to the studio. It was all the words in the right place. It was all the emotion in the right place. And I was at a point in this relationship, like it wasn't going anywhere. And I put this song up, and I literally was just like, I'm gonna go home and break up with my girlfriend. I listened to the song, and that was it. It literally made me take the next step in my life.
Our team is what I would call a well-oiled machine.
My assistant Will has been with me kind of on and off for 22 years now, maybe, and he knows exactly what I need him to do.
The communication's pretty simple now. You know, he finishes his side, it gets to me, I'm going through it. By the time he's already asking me about it, I've already got some feedback. You know, we're so used to it that it just kind of happens automatically.
And Liz, she organizes my life. It's really important. If you're trying to do everything on your own at this level, it's overwhelming. There's a million steps in what we do here. And having this team really kill it every single day just makes my life so much easier.
I was a bartender in East Village. Chris lived across the street from the bar that I worked at, so he'd come in.
We just would always talk about music, and she would make great playlists.
I was playing like a Harry Styles song and then something else, and then he was, you know, doing this thing where he says, I mastered this. And I was like, I don't know what that is, but here's another, you know, here's a beer. I was also living with like 4 other people in Brooklyn, and I was essentially like the house admin. I would order paper towels, toilet paper, and I had it on a spreadsheet. And I remember sitting at the bar, and he's like, what are you doing? Why does that say toilet paper? And I was like, oh, you know, I order all these things so they don't have to worry about it. We get all these amenities. They just show up at our door. And he's like, when my manager quits, I'm hiring you.
I was like, man, you really have your shit together, and you love music. So 2 years went by. She was looking for a job. My manager had just left. I hired her. I said, I'm going to give her a chance because of her passion in music and her organizational skills.
I was also working at an architecture firm, so I quit my job the next day. It was awesome. I didn't even have the job yet. I was just like, bye. I'm probably going to work in music. See you guys, suckers.
And she's been a great manager for the last, 6 years, I think.
Sterling's over a 50-year-old company, and the guys that work here have been here for decades. So when they come out of their rooms and we're all like in the kitchen hanging out and chatting, the stories that they tell and the memories that they share are incredible. I mean, like Greg worked with the Beatles. Chris stayed up until 4 a.m. one night waiting for Puff Daddy to show up when he was Puff Daddy. He talks about working with Wu-Tang Clan, Rihanna, and just all these like amazing historical moments in musical history. So it's really fun to be a fly on the wall for those kinds of stories that they tell.
We're friends. We all have the same core interest. It's a great work environment. I feel like we've really created something here that people will want to come in and be part of. Everything that happens in the studio is driven by passion. You have to really want to be here. You have to want to do this every day. And I always think it's so important that the people that you surround yourself with in the studio are as passionate as you. I feel like that's the most important thing about Sterling Sound, is that we've just constantly had great teams here.
I strive for organizational excellence. I really enjoy when I can do my job well and quickly and make clients happy, and Chris gets messages that are like, hey, your project manager's so easy to work with. I love working with you guys. You guys are a great team. Like, we get a surprising amount of feedback. That just keeps me going. Like, I love it.
I'm always caught by surprise, daily or at least weekly for sure, about the way something sounds, or a lyric that's really beautiful, or the way something is recorded or orchestrated. So there's always interesting things that happen. It really is true. Like, no song is alike. You can't throw one EQ on everything and it works. Like, it's never the case. Like, every song is a different animal, and you just have to massage it and work with it and really listen to it and see what makes it special. And I think that's the trick. Like, you're always finding something special.
What inspires me is doing a service for a client and having them absolutely feel what I did. It can be in the smallest amount or the biggest amount. It's just that they understand what I did and appreciate what I did and feel that what I did brought their music to the next level. I mean, that's what engineering is and music is. Somebody gives you an idea and you develop that idea to a level that they never expected. That's how you are successful in this business, is being open with your emotions and putting yourself out there to, do something great. That's the secret to it all.
Pop culture and technology move at light speed, but Sterling Sound has been able to keep pace and deliver the most beloved music of our generation. Who knows, maybe your favorite song also made the journey through Sterling's doors before ever reaching your ears.
On the party.
And most of the turmoil that happens here is
literally
exactly what I thought.
These are the best bagels ever won, and don't ever think that that's not true, because we're the best for the bagels. You guys can take pizza. New York can take pizza. That's fine.
Jersey pizza's better than me.